Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're taking a closer look at one of the more quietly evolving projects in the crypto space, Zebec Network, ZBCN. While it may not be making daily headlines or boasting billion-dollar market caps just yet, Zebec is carving out a niche for itself in a very important sector, real-time finance. So whether you're a seasoned crypto investor, a DeFi explorer, or someone just curious about where the future of money is headed, this is a breakdown you don't want to miss. Let's begin with the present. As of today, Zebec Network is trading at 0.01178, showing no change in value over the last 24 hours. That might sound dull on the surface, no dramatic surge or devastating dip, but in crypto, stability can sometimes signal strength. When a token holds its ground despite market volatility, it tells us that buyers and sellers are closely matched. It's a moment of pause, a consolidation that often precedes the next big move. Now let's talk numbers that matter. Zebec's 24-hour trading volume sits at $11.39 million, which for a token with a relatively small market cap is a significant figure. It signals healthy liquidity and trading activity. With a market capitalization of $90.65 million, Zebec comfortably fits within the microcap category. Big enough to have attention, but small enough to still be early. Interestingly, despite the impressive trading activity, its market dominance remains at 0.00%, meaning it hasn't yet carved out a slice of the total crypto market capitalization, but this may change as adoption grows. Looking back at price history gives us a clearer sense of Zebec's volatility and potential. The project reached its all-time high on April 23, 2024, when it was trading at 0.0327s. That peak likely followed a period of high investor optimism, perhaps due to a major announcement or a general altcoin rally. Fast forward to August 5, 2024, and we see the token hit its all-time low of 0.0696, a stark reminder of how unforgiving the market can be. What's more interesting, though, is how Zebec responded after that crash. From that low, the price rebounded significantly, climbing as high as 0.2166 during its most recent recovery cycle. This shows us that despite fluctuations, there is resilience built into the Zebec community and use case. Now, despite this recovery, the price prediction sentiment for Zebec remains bearish. That means most technical indicators and trader outlooks currently lean toward a cautious or downward trend. But here's the twist. When we look at the broader market sentiment through the Fear and Greed Index, we see a rating of 71, which falls in the greed zone. This suggests that although Zebec itself is facing some skepticism, the larger crypto space is buzzing with bullish energy. That disconnect could be an opportunity in disguise. When a project like Zebec lags behind while broader sentiment is greedy, it might be poised for a catch-up rally. Let's shift to tokenomics, which is often the heartbeat of a crypto project. Zebec currently has a circulating supply of 76.96 billion tokens out of a maximum supply of 100 billion. So roughly 77% of all possible ZBCN tokens are already in circulation. But here's something that deserves attention. The annual inflation rate stands at 51.25%. That means in just 1 year, 26.08 billion new tokens entered the market. For investors, this can be both a concern and an opportunity. High inflation typically places downward pressure on price unless demand grows at a similar pace. However, if those tokens are being strategically used for ecosystem incentives, staking rewards, or development, then they could strengthen the network in the long term rather than dilute its value. In terms of monthly performance, Zebec has actually held up fairly well. Over the past 30 days, it has risen by 18.5% in USD terms, which reflects growing interest or recovery in market perception. But the broader context reveals more. When priced against Ethereum, Zebec is down 24.87%, and against Bitcoin BTC, it's down 3.75%. That tells us that while ZBCN has appreciated in dollar terms, it's underperforming against the leading digital assets. Some investors see this as a red flag, but others view it as a bargain entry point. After all, catching up to BTC and ETH in the next wave could lead to outsized returns. But let's zoom out a little. What exactly is Zebec Network trying to solve? At its core, Zebec is a continuous payment protocol built on Solana, aiming to redefine how money flows. In today's world, we're used to fixed intervals, weekly wages, monthly rent, annual subscriptions. Zebec challenges that model with the concept of streaming payments. Imagine getting paid by the second instead of waiting 2 weeks for your salary. Or imagine a subscription that charges you only for the time you actually use a service, down to the second. That's what Zebec enables, and it's not just theoretical. Real companies and DAOs are already testing and implementing these streaming features to power payrolls, treasury management, and recurring payments. And because it's built on Solana, Zebec enjoys some serious advantages: blazing fast speeds and negligible transaction fees. That's important because when you're dealing with high-frequency micropayments, even tiny transaction costs can add up quickly. Solana allows Zebec to operate with both precision and efficiency, making it a viable solution for real-world financial flows. Looking ahead, the future of Zebec depends on a few critical factors. First, how quickly can it onboard real users, DAOs, startups, enterprises who need real-time payment infrastructure? Second, will Zebec expand to other chains and ecosystems like Ethereum L2s to grow its reach? And third, how does it plan to manage token inflation in a way that rewards early adopters without alienating future investors? There's also the regulatory landscape to consider. Streaming payments touch on labor laws, financial regulations, and tax considerations. As this model gains traction, Zebec will need to stay nimble and compliant without losing its decentralized edge. Final thoughts? Zebec Network might not be the loudest project on your Twitter feed, but it's solving a very real problem with a very elegant solution. Yes, there are challenges: high inflation, bearish sentiment, and stiff competition, but there's also enormous potential. If Zebec can scale smartly, maintain its technological edge, and continue to find real-world use cases, this could be a project that redefines how we think about money and time. If you found this breakdown useful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to stay up to date with our ongoing coverage of everything crypto, from hidden gems and rising stars to deep dive analyses and market psychology. Your support keeps this channel growing, and it means the world to us. Thanks again for watching, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one.